Hi there, this is Allison with Let's Go Travel Tips. Today we have so much to talk about. We have got an update on the Princess COVID health protocol page on their website, and it is dated today, February 28th of 2022. Gordon and I also have some big changes to some of our cruise plans that I'm going to tell you about, and we've got lots of onboard updates. And so first of all, I would like to welcome all of our Let's Go family members. It is such a pleasure and an honor to be here with all of you. So thank you all for everything that you bring to our Let's Go family. Also, I would like to welcome anyone who is new, and I hope you decide to stay with us. If there is anyone here who hasn't subscribed yet, we would love it if you would subscribe to our channel. It will make you a member of our Let's Go family, and it will also really help you stay up to date with everything that you need to know if you want to cruise right now or consider cruising right now, as well as a lot of other helpful information as you travel. So first of all, like I said, there is a COVID health protocol update on Princess's website, and it evolves around the things that we expected. First of all, they have maintained that anyone who cruises is going to need to be vaccinated and have their vaccine done at least 14 days before they cruise. You're going to have to show proof of that COVID vaccine. And then also everyone, they do still say that boosters are highly recommended. And the other requirement is that you're going to have that COVID test done within 2 days of embarkation. And so it doesn't matter if you're wanting to do a PCR test or an antigen test, it needs to be within 2 days. Now that is a big update from what we were thinking last week. Last week I was on a call with Princess, and they said that if passengers wanted to have 3 days, they could do a PCR test and they would get 3 days to do it, or an antigen test would be 2 days. And then there were lots of other rumors going around on YouTube about 3 days for everyone. And so today, Princess has said how it's going to be on Princess for the foreseeable future, and that is 2 days. And so if you're going to sail on a Sunday, you can get your COVID test done on Friday or Saturday or Sunday before you board. But that's what the rule is going to be. So I wanted to make sure that everybody is really clear on that. And so I also wanted to say the other big update that goes with this is, I think, really exciting. They say that effective March 1st of 2022, they are pleased to be able to welcome children under 5 years old. Children under 5 years old are not yet eligible for a COVID vaccine and will now be permitted to book without requiring an exemption, although they are still going to have to follow the protocols for people who are not vaccinated, since they aren't vaccinated. And so let me tell you what those requirements are really quick. So if you're not vaccinated, so to be on a Princess ship and not be vaccinated, you either need to have an exemption and you have to apply for those separately through Princess, or you will be under the age of 5. And so you have to show proof of a negative PCR test done within 3 days of traveling. And then once you get to the ship on embarkation day, you're going to have another COVID-19 test performed at the terminal, and then another test performed prior to disembarkation at the end of your cruise. You might recall that that is part of the rules that was laid down by the CDC in this new cruise ship program that all the cruise lines have opted into. And so it says that we must also provide the testing information and report it to all the destinations they visit as well. So to cover the cost of the testing and the administration, they have set a charge of $150 per person, which will be assessed to your onboard account if you are cleared to sail. So you are not entirely cleared to sail until you get to the port and have that embarkation day test. And if that's negative, then away you go. And so that's important. The other thing to know is that if you're not vaccinated, you're going to need to wear a face mask indoors at all times and outdoors when you cannot socially distance from people who are not in your immediate travel group. It also says that, like the rest of us, you have to wear your mask at embarkation and debarkation, and when you're on transportation, like if you're on a bus or a shuttle somewhere. It says exemptions are made when guests are eating or drinking, receiving spa treatments related to the face, during high-intensity exercise in pools, whirlpools, or sauna, as well as in your own stateroom. So that's everything with masking. You still have to maintain a physical distance of at least 3 feet, even in dining areas, except for the people who are in your immediate travel party. And it says guests, it's going to depend on the port that you go to, whether or not you're going to be permitted to get off the ship. Now, in some areas, you might have to be on a Princess excursion in order to get off the ship, and that's just going to vary by port, so you're going to need to find out where you're visiting. Let me tell you, I have the quick list of the, we have a few ports that even if you're vaccinated, you have to get off in a Princess excursion. It's like Gatun Lake, Bahama, in Dominica, in there's somewhere else. Anyway, there's just a couple of places and that you have to be vaccinated in order to get off the ship, and some that you have to get off in a Princess excursion anyway. And so when you get on the ship, you'll be able to figure that out. And if I was going and I was taking small children with me and I wanted to do an excursion, I think it's really nice to book a Princess excursion anyway, because they'll have everything set up really nice for having a child with you. So I just wanted to let you know that. So those are what all of the requirements are if you're not vaccinated and what you have to do. The other thing that I wanted to make sure that everyone understands, since we have so many new people here, and I know some people have not even cruised yet, and so regarding that test that you have to have done within 2 days, you can get that done like at your Walgreens, at your CVS, at an Instacare, just anywhere that does the testing. Just be aware that you cannot go to like your Walgreens and buy an over-the-counter test that you just take home and do by yourself and see what the, if you're positive or negative. You need to have a test that is actually administered by a healthcare professional. And so that's why going to Walgreens or CVS, those kind of places will count, as well as your Instacare. I think a few doctor's offices do that. I know a lot of private pharmacies do it as well, that you can book appointments there. And so be aware of that. The other things that you can do, and I think the simplest, is you can order your tests from eMed or from Optum, and they will be shipped directly to your house, and then they have the component that goes with it that you actually log in to a telemedicine call with a healthcare provider, and the cost, it doesn't cost extra, it's included in what you pay for the tests, but then they are online with you the whole time you do the test, and then they will email you your results so that you have an official copy of those. And so I think that's the easiest way to do it. And then of course they have the docgo.com, just docgo.com, and for people that are going to be sailing out of Fort Lauderdale, Los Angeles, and San Francisco, you can make reservations up to 10 days out before your cruise, and what they do is just test you right there at the port. When you're actually making that reservation, you select which port you're going to be at and which ship you're going to be on, and then you book your appointment dependent on what time you want to get on the ship. And they will test you right there, and then you'll be able to get on. And so there are lots of different options. Princess also has the Radius option, R-A-D-E-A-S. Now, an interesting thing about Radius is I heard a lot of people complaining about how unsmooth that was, that it didn't go very well. But I did have a person from Canada contact me, and she said that they ordered the test through Radius, and Radius would actually ship it to the hotel that they are going to stay at here in the United States, so that they could fly in and use that test once they got to the hotel, because they were coming a couple of days before it was time for their cruise to go. And the Radius test also has that component that it allows for the telemedicine phone call, the video call while you're doing the test. And so if you've got any questions about testing, you can put them below, but there are lots and lots of options. And there's the caveat I wanted just to share with you, and Princess has it on their protocols here as well. If you are going to leave home and then you're going to travel somewhere and be there for a couple of days so that you'll need to be tested again before you get on the ship, it is always advisable to get tested before you leave home, so that you don't accidentally test positive and then you go ahead and travel and you don't find out until you get there that you were positive. And so keep that in mind with what you're doing. Now, another thing that I wanted to let everybody know about, I also get a lot of questions on if Princess allows people who have recently recovered from COVID and might still test positive to sail. And the answer is yes, they do. They just have some rules for you. So first of all, they say that exemptions may apply for asymptomatic guests who have tested positive for COVID in the 90 days prior to embarkation, but not less than 10 days prior to embarkation and are fully recovered. Guests will need to provide a letter of recovery from their doctor and laboratory test results taken at least 10 or more days prior to embarkation, but not more than 90 days. So if you had COVID like 120 days ago and you're testing positive now, that's not going to work. It has to be within 90 days, but not more than 10 days. Okay, so make sure that you bring the documentation with you. So, and it needs to be, they have previously said that it needs to be like on the letterhead of the doctor's office with the doctor's contact information. It has to be a real letter. It can't be something that's just thrown together. And, so they do allow for that, but if I had that situation, I would look at this COVID health protocol page on Princess's website and make sure that I understood completely everything that's required. So take a look at it, but know that they do require that, but you need to take your documentation with you. Let's see. The last thing that, testing during your cruise. So it says for select longer cruises, including voyages 15 days and longer, Panama Canal full transit cruise, Hawaii, and the transatlantic voyages, guests may have a COVID-19 test administered 2 to 3 days into their voyage. The test will be scheduled and administered by the onboard medical team and will be provided on a complimentary basis. And so for those of you that have cruises booked to Hawaii, I would say pack an extra large amount of your patience and your flexibility. Hawaii is requiring a lot of extra testing, and I just want everybody to be aware of that. So when you're on your cruise, you might have more testing than you had anticipated. That's what we're hearing back from some people. So just like I said, be flexible and patient with it all, because there's no way around it. And if we want to get to cruise, we have to do what the rules are. So, here's my list. I thought I had left it upstairs. So Bridgetown, Barbados, Gatun Lake, Panama, Rousseau, Dominica, and Castries, St. Lucia are the locales where they say that people have to be on a Princess excursion if they want to get off the ship. And so if anybody has gone to any of these lately, I would love to hear from you about what your experience was. So that pretty much encapsulates everything as we have today if you want to cruise. Of course, there are lots of random questions that you can ask about this. And on the FAQ that Princess has, they answer so many small questions. So take a look at that if you would like to. The easiest way to get to it is just when you go to princess.com, across the top is this dark gray banner. And one of the things that you can click on is health protocols, and that will take you to it. So I just wanted to share all of that with you, but that's a really good picture of what it looks like right now to cruise, and so I thought I'd tell you that. Now, the next thing that I wanted to let you know is Gordon and I have told you that we were planning to go on that cruise to Alaska on May 2nd, and now we are going to cancel that cruise. Because, as I mentioned, our children that have not traveled here in almost 2 years now, due to the pandemic, are finally feeling like it is okay to come because they have children that are too little to be vaccinated. And so they are going to come, and we are going to thoroughly enjoy being with them then. And so we are going to cancel that cruise. I am sad that I have to cancel that cruise because, as you know, I was really, really excited about that itinerary, and it's not running again this year. So I'm really hopeful that Princess will run it again next year. In fact, I think I'll look for it and see if it'll work next year. At the beginning of May, we're supposed to be on the Norwegian Jade, sailing from Athens up through the Bosphorus Strait into the Black Sea. And hopefully that cruise will still get to go, but hopefully we'll be able to get up to all of those places that we were going to see in Alaska sometime soon. So needless to say, we are looking for another cruise to book instead. And as you might recall, I had told you that we have also the one June 29th, that it was the Scandinavia. It was also an itinerary that it's only running twice this year. It runs that June 29th and then August 28th. But my husband works at a university, so there's no way we can go August 28th. It's about the time school starts. And so we can't go on that. So I did book it for next year. But there is a sailing, and it's called the Baltic Heritage Cruise, and it goes on May 14th of this year, and it's round trip out of Southampton. And one of the ports that really grabbed my attention is Gdansk, Poland. And my grandmother's people came from Poland, and they immigrated here to the United States. And I just, along with having a pull for the amazing Russian people and that whole just that whole region, really, I have wanted to go to Poland forever. So when I saw that, I was excited. And then the other reason that y'all might want to think of doing this, that I'm thinking of doing it, I'm sure we're not going to go to St. Petersburg. And so I noticed, you'll notice in the video, I told you it was either on Friday or Saturday, how a couple of the cruise lines have already announced the ports that they're going to go to instead of going to St. Petersburg. And they are ports that you don't generally see on an itinerary. So I was kind of hopeful that maybe they'll pick up one of those ports and we'll get to go there. And so we haven't booked it yet, but we might tonight. And so if anybody has any thoughts on that, you can put it below. And yeah, we are really thinking about that. There's also a 14-day cruise that leaves May 14th as well to Alaska, but it's not got all the places that I was really looking forward to. And so I think we might do that Baltic cruise instead. And I think I'm one of those people, I'll just take any excuse to go to Europe, but I am really, really excited. And we're just making sure that we think it's prudent, but I don't see why it's not prudent. So we'll probably end up doing that, but I'll let you know for sure. Now, we've got a couple of updates. We've got both Linda and Joe, two of our Let's Go family members, and they're not married. It's just two different people, happen to be on the Sky Princess right now. And they were both so kind to talk about they're in Costa Maya today. And let's see, I thought there's... they have 3 other ships in port, so there's a total of 4 ships in Costa Maya today, which I thought was awesome. They've got the Symphony of the Seas, the Carnival Valor, the Norwegian Joy, and then the Sky Princess. And oh, and by the way, that cruise, May 14th, the Baltic Heritage, is on the Sky Princess. And so I thought that it was really fun that they're in port with that many ships today. And then we've also got another update. I can't remember who told me this, but the Regal Princess sailing right now in the sailing has 1,200 passengers. And so see, we are still well below where we could be. I think that, if I am correct, I think that the capacity for the Regal is like 3,060 passengers, so they're still under 50%. And so I wanted to let you know about that. And then we had a couple of really fun meet and greets. Arlene and her husband Virgil on the Caribbean Princess, they posted a picture on our Let's Go Travel Tips Facebook page. And so they had a fun meetup on the Outrigger Bar, and that was yesterday, Sunday, and it was really fun. They posted a picture, and so really, thank you. She commented what a fun time they had getting to know each other, and it just makes me really happy. And I know that we're small, but you know what? We are growing. And so, and you know what? Sizes and everything. Sometimes it's quality is so much more better than quantity often. And then also Jill organized a meet and greet over on the Ruby Princess yesterday on Sunday, and they were so kind to post a picture of them. And you don't know how happy it makes me to see all of you together. It just makes me really, really happy. And I wanted to say that I have noticed with every single one of you that I've met or visited with online, talked with in any way, you know what, you are my dear people. It is really a happy thing for me to meet people that have such a common love of cruising. We all enjoy Princess, as well as you all are really good people. And I think that that is one of the greatest, I would say, a blessing in my life of doing this with you all is how good you are and what amazing people you are. And so I am really happy that some of you got to meet up. And I think it's just amazing that you all will take a minute to get to know each other. And so those are the updates that I've got for today. If any of you have any updates that you would like to share from a cruise that you were either on or that you just got off of, we would love to hear from you. And I have got 2 questions for all of you today. First of all, we keep hearing that to do laundry on the ships that the washers are only having hot water. Can anyone comment on that? And if nobody can remember, if anybody is on the ship right now and you do some laundry or you're walking by the laundry room, can you check and see if you can also select like your warm or cold water? Because I know that a lot of times a lot of us have clothes that we don't want to wash in the washer on hot water. So that will clear up a lot of questions I'm getting. And then this is a kind of a fun request. We've got a sailing that is going on the Emerald Princess June 14th to cruise the British Isles. And our Let's Go family members, Jackie and John, are going to be on that cruise. Is anybody else going to be on that cruise? We would love to hear from you. They posted it over on the Facebook group and we haven't heard from anybody there, but I know that our Let's Go family includes a lot of people that haven't had a chance or didn't want to join our Facebook group. So if any of you are going, would you please slide that in the comments below so that we can know, and it would just be really fun if we've got some Let's Go family members. And also comment if you're on that May 14th cruise that Gordon and I are thinking of going on. I think it would be really fun to hear about that as well. So if you appreciate all of these updates, would you please give this video a thumbs up? I really appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. I will be talking to you all again really soon. You all take really good care. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.